Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Hey guys, Austin here. Welcome back to Mr. Vintage Restoration, and we are on the road in our Chrysler Town & Country man van on our way to check out a 1948 Chevy Fleetline. The car has not run or drove in probably 20-25 years, so you know, what's the smart thing to do? Let's see if we can get it fired up and drive it home. So follow along, let's see what we get into. Just like that, we're here again. So if this barn looks familiar to you, that's because we have in fact been here before. This is the same barn that our 54 Oldsmobile came out of. But if you didn't get a chance to see that video, go ahead and click the link in the upper right corner and that'll take you to that video, that car. Another case of will it run and drive, been sitting for a long time. Good stuff. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, go ahead and leave us a comment down below, and we'd love to hear from you and what you think about what we're doing. So with that, let's get back at it.
Woo! Woo! Alright, I mean, it's a really cool car, but boy, I picked a day to quit smoking because it would have arguably smelled better than what we got going on in here. The mice have had a field day in here. It stinks like mouse pee, and it's a little bit of a mess, but you know what, I dig a challenge, so let's see what we can do. Looks like we got 4 flat tires. Maybe they'll take air. I've had pretty good luck with old tires taking air. Take a peek under the hood and see what we got going on under there. So our tire situation is definitely looking no bueno. Out of 4 tires, we got one that looks like it might take some air, and 3 that are split and dry rotted, and that's pretty questionable, but I got my doubts. That one's completely off the rim. Completely off the rim. A 1962 Texas vehicle registration on the windshield, kind of cool. Big pile of junk to trip over here. Let's see if I can get in there and get this hood open. She's got some spring in her. Oh yeah. So underneath the hood of the 48 Chevy, is a 216 Chevy straight six. Straight sixes were Chevy's bag back in the day. V8s really didn't become a thing until the 50s. 6-volt system, pretty basic. I'm feeling confident we can make it run, but we got to get them tires squared away first. Alright, so 2 out of 4 we've been lucky. They've taken air. This one has popped off the bead, so let's see if we can get lucky with this one too. So the first thing we're going to do here, try to clean this up a little bit. Don't get too crazy with it. Let's get the worst of the dust and garbage out of there. Never tried to do this with a tire that was this set up, but what's the worst that can happen? Oh yeah, explosion. Fire in the hole. Nope, not so much. Didn't light it fast enough. Nope, not gonna go. Not with one like this. A for effort. I'm gonna have to try something else. Put them in the back, but back gate's broke. It's a man van.
Alright, as you can see, we are sitting back on tires again. Probably been a minute since those tires held air, and frankly, I'm as surprised as anyone. So now, it's time to see and sort out what we need to do here under the hood. And I would say the first order of business is going to be to get a new battery. So, off to the parts store I go. Well, at least we got plenty of fender to lean on here. One interesting thing I learned while researching this car, something I was unaware of, and maybe y'all are too. I always thought that every 6-volt system was positive ground, backwards from 12-volt system. But apparently, Chevrolet, I think maybe Oldsmobile and Buick, don't quote me on that, but definitely Chevrolet, apparently is negative ground, just like a 12-volt system, which is not common for 6-volt to be negative ground, but apparently that's the way Chevrolets are. So, learned something new, same as I did. Get this guy wrestled out of here. Holy smokes. Alright, just finishing up our little grocery run to the big little town of Wayland, Michigan. Got our battery and some other doodads, odds and ends to get this thing running, fingers crossed. If you can look past all of the rust and the gross and all of that looking at this car, believe it or not, it's actually really solid. Texas car. The fellow that bought this car, his name was Paul. This was the first antique car he bought before he really started buying a whole crap ton of them. I think he had about 130 of them when he died. But not all of them were real nice. This one actually was a really nice, solid survivor. I saw this car in person when I was a kid in probably about 1998. Would have been maybe the summer that he bought it at a car show in Hastings, Michigan at a Kmart Plaza. They had a cruise in there one night, and my grandmother dropped me off there, and I looked at old cars. But I remember this car very specifically. Cars always stuck out to me, things that aren't real common. You know, it's not your GTO, it's not your Tri-5 Chevrolet, that kind of thing. This car stuck out, and I remember meeting Paul and talking about the car a little bit, I guess in the way that, you know, a 12-year-old kid can admire an old car. And it wasn't until more recently that I realized that this was the car I had seen when I was a kid almost 30 years ago. So, long story short, Paul, sometime after that, I would guess maybe late 90s, early 2000s, I think he tore the car apart, decided he was going to repaint it, which actually was kind of a shame because, like I said, it was a really nice original survivor car. And obviously never finished it, parked it in the barn. It's been sitting there somewhere between 20 and 25 years. Hasn't run, hasn't driven. Paul passed away probably about 4 years ago, give or take now. It's actually his house is the one that we bought, but his widow lives just down the road. So I'm kind of excited, hopefully, to get this one running, take it down, show it to her, because she hasn't seen this car on the road in many, many years. So fingers crossed we can pull this one off. So we had a slight hiccup and broke the points. However, thank goodness Paul had a spare set in the glove box. All right, let's get our coolant topped off. I don't know where it ever goes in these cars that sit and think it'd just be there, but for whatever reason, it's not. For this car's make, model, and what have you not, it's actually incredibly well optioned. It seemed like I was told, maybe by Paul's son, that this car belonged to an engineer. It has the underseat rear heater. It has the coolant overflow tank, which is actually an option I never actually knew existed in these cars. And really, for most GM stuff, would not become common until the 1970s. Believe it has rear defog. I'm not sure on that. It's got the deluxe radio, steering wheel, and a lot of the other little bells and whistles. Like I said, for the car that it is, it's kind of unusual, and it's also surprising that it's not a two-door Aero sedan, which is the definitely more desirable car. Alright, we got our points installed. Got our fuel line hooked up, our battery is in. So, only one thing left to do. See if we can make her start. Alright, time to see what she do. Not much. Keep playing with it. Carrying oil pressure, battery showing charge. Damn. Well, that sucks. Hope that's repop. Alright, as you can see, it runs, and it runs really well. I'm actually really surprised how well it runs. And the fact that it's charging and carrying oil pressure, added plus. Now, next problem. Brakes are stuck. So we're going to have to see what I'm going to have to do to get the brake drums unstuck. The good news is the clutch isn't stuck. The transmission goes into gear. We got headlights. I really can't get over how well this car actually runs. Got brake lights. No brakes. Definitely no brakes. That's a good place to start. Alright. Had to come back next morning here. Fortunately, got a little late yesterday. Dinner got done. So I had to get home. That being said, got our first corner up. You can see here this front wheel is locked up so tight from sitting and rust and moisture and whatnot that I can loosen the lug nuts with the tire completely off the ground. You should not be able to do that. So need to get this tire off, and we're going to beat on this drum, see if we can get it freed up. We're getting there. Alright, got her kind of freed up, at least enough that the car should be able to power through it, and it'll start turning easier as soon as that gets rolling and that polishes that drum. Or it'll get so hot it'll seize up, but yeah, we ain't got far to go. Alright, slip under here a minute, one of our checklist items before launch. Rear diff, see it's got a little drip. Normally these things are never out of fluid, but I learned in my last video that sometimes that's not always true. We drug that car all the way home on a dolly and learned after the fact that there wasn't any rear end lube in it. If we can get this plug out, we're going to check it. This right here, this is the ugly way to do it, but don't do like Mr. Vintage. Don't do like me. Sometimes though, when you're in the field, you don't have a lot of options. Yeah. Can't argue with success though. Oh, she is full. Full. And super thick. And now we know. Alright, I think we're just about done with our pre-flight checklist. A couple things to pick off. We gotta run our auxiliary fuel line here. A little tricky on this car. Body lines actually fit really tight, so let's get creative here. I think I see a path we can take.
we come back around up here. Woo! God, that stinks. Just give her a little pinch with the wing window. Just enough to hold it in place. Primo, just like GM designed it. Alright, gonna give us a little added layer of safety here. Like a dummy, I forgot my zip ties, so this is gonna have to do in a pinch. That'll keep that line from dragging the ground. Alright, just about ready to set sail here. Rule number one, when you're going to drive a car that has no brakes, questionable tires, and probably a few other things a little on the questionable side, don't forget to wipe the 20 years worth of barn grime and dust off from the windshield, because if you're going to do dumb stuff, you probably should see which way you're headed. Free tip for you. Alright, we can't get it to go into first gear. Being a 3 on the speed, probably a adjustment issue. So we're just gonna drive real ginger-like and just kind of feather her on home. Hey, the speedo works a little bit. We got little to no brakes. Yep, that's a looky-loo. Apparently people just ain't used to seeing a 48 Chevrolet just meandering along. She does not like those second gear starts. Oh yeah, feel the lump in those tires. They are flat spotted real bad. "25 miles an hour. Heck yeah, man. Got a nice clear open to swing onto our road here. God we live right around the corner. This is shady. Just climb this slight incline. Oh yeah. Drop the clutch and coast in. Because we got no brakes. Easy does it now. All right, in my backyard. All right, the journey's not over yet. This is only part of it. We got one more part to complete. All right, we got her all cleaned up. Let's take a look around it. I was actually really surprised at how much paint was left on this car. I mean, if you wanted to do a rat rod thing, it's definitely got the crappy patina, if that's your bag of tricks. Fenders are in the back seat. A little bit of stuff in the trunk, but not a whole lot going on in there. The inside condition, other than, you know, the obvious stank of mice, is really not that bad now that I can see it in the daylight. So that leaves us one thing to do. We have to go show Paul's wife.
You feel weird?
Yeah. I feel really weird. I don't know what you're doing.
He wants to get the look on your face.
Oh my God, he's got it running?
He does. Charlie, you need to stop. He's even got it on the original tires.
Oh my God.
You guys get back.
Look at the gas gauge on it.
It's just sticking right out there.
What do you think?
Hey.
Right back with me.
Yay!
That thing runs, buddy.
Like a champ.
I thought it didn't run. I thought that thing was only it didn't run.
A little rough around the edges, but actually I'm surprised how well it does run. It don't smoke.
It don't smoke or nothing, buddy.
Change the oil or? Nope, fired it right up with what was in it.
You got all the stuff for here too, don't you?
Yep, Paulie dropped it off down at the barn when he cleaned out the shop.
Yeah.
Don't.
Man,
So Dad, you just have to fix this part.
that thing has set for years.
Yeah, I've done it a long time. It looks like it's sit down there probably 25 years.
Oh, Oh my goodness.
Fenders are in the
Yeah.
back.
Oh, yeah. This stuff.
Yeah, so you need
I
to
forgot
just
that
put
that
them
had
on.
wood on it.
Mom, you just need to put that on.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah. Big trunk.
Looks like
Well,
it's been loaded
coloring.
with mice.
Yes, it has. I'm guessing it's. All right. We know the answer to the question. It does run. It does drive. Didn't clean up too bad, all things considered. And we got to make an old lady's day. So, I'm not going to lie. That's a pretty solid day for me. Had a lot of fun doing this one. It's been on my bucket list for a while to do this car when the opportunity came up to do it. Probably going to put this thing back to bed in our barn, see if we get to it over this winter, do a little bit of puttering around with it, just kind of see what happens with it. That being said, I want to thank you guys for coming along on the journey with me, hanging in there. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Really helps us out. Like to see your banter back and forth. So yeah, we appreciate you and hope to see you back again in the shop or hopefully on the road again real soon. Have a good night, guys.